Good morning, guys. Today we are starting the GIANG loop after arriving at 1:45 in the night with the night bus. Strangely, I had a bed all to myself and it was very comfortable. I did manage to catch some sleep here at the GIANG hostel after arriving, and we've had a lovely breakfast and now we are off. We've left the big bag and we are taking a smaller bag to go on the 4-day adventure. I'm so excited. The GIANG loop is approximately 350 kilometers long and one of the most famous motorcycle routes in Southeast Asia. This mountainous region between GIANG in northern Vietnam and the Chinese border is one of the most beautiful landscapes in Asia, with its bizarre karst mountain formations, rice terraces, and river valleys. You can choose to rent a motorcycle and take on the 3- or 4-day journey by yourself, or you can opt for an organized tour, either driving yourself or hiring an easy rider because the roads get pretty challenging. I went on the 4-day, 3-nights adventure with GIANG Hostel. After meeting the easy riders and getting some information about our route for the next 2 days, it was time to set off. We drove for a while to get out of the city, then ran into some road construction, but eventually we got to enjoy the beautiful landscapes that we were promised. I think we've been driving for about 2 hours now and we do stop very regularly, but all the bags go on the back of the bike, which leaves very little room between the guy and me. I thought that having a bigger bum would be an advantage, but it definitely is not. So yeah, I've had quite a numb bum at the start of the ride, but I feel like I'm getting more comfortable on the bike, so that's good. Yeah, the views are just as beautiful as you would imagine. Once we set off again, we passed by the Booby Hills. Can you spot them? Then we continued a little bit further to reach our lunch spot. Lunch was always a wide range of yummy food. And then we were off again. It wasn't long before we had our first stop in the afternoon, and we were not expecting the karaoke to start this early on. After lunch, the guides, our drivers, they somehow ended up doing karaoke at the next stop, and then at the following stop I put the drone up because it was so beautiful. We arrived in this beautiful valley, and honestly, as of then, it was definitely the best part of the day. Driving through this beautiful local village, and yeah, just as the sun set, it was beautiful. We arrived here at our homestay and we only got 10 minutes just to drop our bags, and then it was on to the waterfall. After driving through the middle of nowhere with just our group, I was shocked at how busy it was at the waterfall. There was even a bar, and I decided to go for a very refreshing dip along with the others. I had to take my beer along for the ride back, and the ride was absolutely magical because the moon had come out at golden hour. After a quick dip, we came back for lunch, and of course there was a lot of happy water involved. We had a great night and now it is day 2 of the GIANG adventure. Let's go have some breakfast. After breakfast, which I didn't have because I was feeling unwell, we set off again for more stunning views. The second day of the GIANG loop did not go as well as expected. We started out with some beautiful views, the same ones as we had the day before because we had to go back on ourselves a bit, and I projectile vomited off the bike. I just wasn't feeling well. I woke up with an extreme, really bad cold, and then yeah, it all went south from there. In the afternoon, after lunch, the road got so bad and I also was so uncomfortable on the bike, much more uncomfortable than the first day. And I just really wanted it to be over, to be honest. It was so dusty that we even got a mask. But eventually we ended at the canyon and we did a 40-minute boat tour, and this made it all worth it. The Chusan Canyon is the deepest canyon in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, with a cliff height of up to 700 to 800 meters, a length of 1.7 kilometers, and a depth of nearly a kilometer. It is really a unique and impressive landscape. It was so beautiful and it was a much needed break before continuing the trip here. This last stretch of road was the best of the day, with decent roads and impeccable views. I also asked my Easy Rider to adjust my bag and was much more comfortable for the last kilometers before arriving at our homestay. Here we all slept on mattresses next to each other. In the evening I just had some noodles from the hot pot, my first food for the day, before heading to bed early. I had an early night and now I am ready to go again on the third day of the GIANG loop. Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to the people who have only booked 3 days, and that's a lot of the girls that I got along with really well, so that's gonna suck. But yeah, we are only halfway now, which is crazy because it feels like it's been a lot, but I'm ready now. It's gonna be a better day today. After breakfast, which was shared with the beehive, we set off on a stunning drive through the Don Vang UNESCO Global Geopark. The Don Vang Geopark runs along the Chinese border in the northernmost part of Vietnam. In the past, people could move freely between China and Vietnam along this border because the mountains made it difficult to control. However, nowadays, the entire border is fenced to prevent illegal trade, even trade in people, and unfortunately also splitting up ethnic minorities living in these mountains for the longest time. With 17 different ethnic minority groups living in the geopark, it has some of the highest cultural diversity in the world. We also pass by these huge old trees that the locals protect and worship. We came across the Lung Cu flag point in the northernmost town of Vietnam. Luckily, we didn't have to climb up all the steps and we got to admire it from a distance before continuing driving through some of the most beautiful landscapes of the loop. We had lunch, and up in the mountains it would be super cold one moment and then warm again the next. So definitely make sure to bring a good sweater. Unfortunately, we didn't stop at this iconic viewpoint as it was too busy according to our guides, but the views were still my favorites of the whole trip. Day 3 definitely made up for day 2. We then arrived at our amazing local homestay for the night. This was a very authentic local place run by the ethnic people who served us another delicious dinner before sharing their culture with us through a beautiful performance. Ending with one more round of happy water and karaoke, of course. Today is the final day of the GIANG loop. Today we'll be going to some caves. We stayed in the most beautiful homestay last night and we had a beautiful show of traditional dance with the traditional costumes. It was really nice. We really enjoyed the third day so much more than the second, at least I did, because the road was so much better. But yeah, we are just going to drive our kilometers and then arrive in GIANG, and then I'm going to take the bus to Sapa. But for now, let's start the last day of the Hajang adventure.
Unfortunately, on the last day we had to conquer the rain. All wrapped up in plastic, which was the worst possible solution, as they sent us on a challenging hike up to the cave, sweating, wrapped in plastic, leaving us soaking wet anyways. The Lunghui cave, which I didn't expect much of, still really surprised me.
This cave was so much cooler than I expected. There's so many beautiful stalactites and stalagmites. It was really impressive. It was worth the tough hike up, but I'm sweating so much because I'm covered in plastic doing exercise.
As the walk back down predicted, we wouldn't be able to enjoy any of the views for the rest of the day. However, it was a stretch of road that we had done on the first day, so we had seen the landscape before and didn't miss out on much. Being wet on the back of the bike in the rain got pretty cold though.
If you want to see what I get up to in Vietnam, then definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. My time in Vietnam has been absolutely incredible. So if you don't want to miss any of that, I will see you in the next video. Bye!